All right. Hey guys, this is your host Thomas Tyree here from On the Hot Podcast. Today, this could be episode 232 for you guys. I'm joined by the host of the Run Podcast, special guest today, Manny Wilson, coming from the Run Podcast, and we're going to collaborate again. Manny, thanks again for joining the podcast today, man.
Of course, man. Thanks for having me. I greatly appreciate it. Love coming on the pod, chopping it up with you. So I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. We got a mix of everything: football, basketball, baseball today. So, Manny, we'll start off with the biggest news that happened during the NFL trade deadlines today. We'll go over our winners and losers of the NFL trade deadline. So, Manny, who are your winners and losers of the NFL trade deadline today?
Oh my gosh. All right. So the trade deadline really shocked me, man. I knew it was going to be some moves, but the team that really shocked me most in this deadline is the New York Jets. Honestly, I'm most impressed with the New York Jets because they are loaded with draft picks after all of these moves, moving Sauce Gardner, and then obviously moving Quentin Williams. Like, oh my gosh, man, they got two first round picks next year, and then two second round picks next year, and then in 2027 the New York Jets have three first round picks. They have their own, they have the Colts, and they have the Cowboys first round picks. So I'm like, this is what you do when you try to establish a new era in a new city with a football team. Yeah, you already got a new head coach, Aaron Glenn. Yes, despite what the record says, I think he's really shifting the culture, if anything. But this is what you do when you're trying to rebuild some of that talent. You load up on those draft picks. And I mean, now they got multiple picks in the first round for the next 2 years, and they also still have their fourth, fifth, sixth round picks as well. So I'm really impressed with the New York Jets. It was shocking that they did get rid of some of their key guys on the defensive end, but ultimately you're 1-7. You clearly not about to win anything this year. So let's just look for the future, and let's also make the cap room even a little bit better because now you get rid of two guys who are on major deals. So this opens up a lot of room for the financial aspect of bringing in different guys. So not only do you have the draft picks, but you also have the cap space to be able to bring in free agents when the time causes for it. So New York Jets, man, I'm all over them, and I think ultimately they definitely came out with some good outcomes with this trade deadline.
Yeah, I'll actually spoil one of the losers because you had some good points though, Manny. But I was just like, the Jets. Why did the Jets do this today? Because I'm
Mm,
like, you're right. They are 1-7, and they're like lost in the sauce right now. But I'm just
mm,
thinking like Aaron Glenn as a defensive coordinator for the Jets. I'm like, why
yeah,
would you give up your two cornerstone players as a defensive player? But in your sake, like for your point, I didn't think about them getting actually three first rounders in 2027. And there's going to be a
crazy.
lot of good players that come out of there. Like you could possibly get Jeremiah Smith, one of the
Yep.
best, no, the best wide receiver in college football right now when he comes out. Ryan Williams from Alabama, as
Yep.
he grows, he's going to be coming out in 2027. So that's just to name a few. You got three first rounders to play with. But then I'm just like, as a culture right now, I feel like Sauce Gardner and Quentin Williams are two best defensive players. It's something you build around, but I can understand from a logical point of trading those players away. For the Jets standpoint, though, I would have liked that they traded Brees Hall. I definitely would have
Yeah.
liked it because you probably would have got a third rounder at best. But Brees Hall, like, he does not want to be there. Like, after he saw
Yeah.
Sauce Gardner and Quentin
Yeah.
Williams, he was just like, can I go next? Like, this man is going to be miserable.
Man.
And I think his contract actually expires after this year. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it's just for the Jets. Like this team is like so unhopeful. I think the last time they made the playoffs was when Mark
Yeah.
Sanchez was their starter, Rex Ryan was their coach.
It's been a long time since the Jets have made any noise. So I'm like, it is rough for the Jets, but also too, I look at it like, bro, this year was already a disaster.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, possibly next year would have been a disaster too. They still had a first round pick for next year's draft, but
Mm.
like it's just I don't know if that would have even turned anything around. So I feel like them trading their key defensive guys was really just a signal of like, all right, I guess we're starting over to rebuild again. And I mean, seems like they've just been rebuilding ever forever, like over the past 2 years. Like every 2 years they get a new fresh start again. But I don't know, man. I think with trading those guys, they did get something good in return. I would have loved to see Brees Hall go, and I don't think we'll see the end of Brees Hall's like story with the New York Jets. I'm pretty sure he's going to get traded. If anything, he is a free agent next year, so he'll probably sign with another team. I just double checked it, so he'll probably go
Okay.
somewhere else. I'm sure he will.
Yeah, but I will give the Jets credit though because how the hell did you get two first rounders for Sauce Gardner? Like he ain't like no Patrick Surtain. He's a good corner, don't get me wrong, but he ain't no Patrick Surtain, no Devin Singletary. Like that is crazy. You got two first rounders out of him.
See, but Sauce is sleepy good or sneaky good, I should say. He's like sneaky good because he's
Yeah,
been killing it from like the when you look at all the statistics of I forget the like next gen stats and stuff. His performance has been solid for the most part. It's just bro, with the Jets you cannot win. No matter what you do with the New York Jets, it's just going to be minimized because it's the New York Jets and they're not winning games. Nobody cares
yeah.
if you're not winning games. So he could be locking his side of the corner or the field up the whole game. But no matter if you lose 24-4 or three, I should say, it can't put up four, but if you lose 24-3 every game, like it don't really matter.
Yeah, and for his situation in Indianapolis now, like the secondary isn't the best, but that defense is low key nice for the Indianapolis Colts. Like he'll at least play alongside
Yeah.
Kenny Moore and as a
Mhm.
cornerback out there, so he will have help in the secondary, so he won't feel like he's all alone or at times gets picked on because there's nobody else or situations like that. I think he's in a good place with the Indianapolis Colts. That's in a win now move, but it's crazy that they got two first rounders for him.
Yeah, and you know I'll add this part too for the whole Sauce Gardner thing. So just double check too for PF like for the next gen stats and all of that. It is reported that Sauce Gardner is the highest graded cornerback since entering the NFL. So like
Mm,
he still definitely has a lot of talent, still has a lot of value, and I mean to me I think it was an even trade. It's tough, and it's I was shocked to see that the Colts got rid of two first round picks because
yeah,
literally consecutive years they don't have the pick next year and they don't have the pick the following year. So it's like, oh, like you just got rid of your first round picks for two consecutive years. It's crazy. So it is mind blowing to me, but I think you get a good price at Sauce Gardner, and he's on contract for another 4 years. So like he's gonna be there for some time. You don't have to worry about him entering free agency anytime soon. So you pretty much got rid of two first round picks for a guy on a fresh new contract to be with your franchise for at least 4 years. So I'm like, I think it was a fair trade. It was a hefty price from the Colts, but clearly the Colts are in win now mode. They got the record to prove it. They've been balling all season so far. So I'm not mad at an all out decision like this to go for a cornerback who's significantly going to improve that defense.
yeah, you got some good points right there. Definitely got some good points right there. You got any more winners and losers, Manny?
Winners, losers. I'll go. I don't really think there was many losers. I didn't really see too many bad deals go down at the deadline. Correct me if I'm wrong if you did.
Yeah.
Um, but I think another big win was the whole Jacoby Myers trade to the Baltimore Ravens. Let me make sure. No, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I said that wrong. Jacoby Myers to the Jaguars. I thought that
Oh
was a
yeah.
good pickup for the
I was like,
Jaguars.
oh, did he go to the? I was like,
Yeah,
wait a
yeah, no, that was my bad. That was my bad.
minute. You're
Yeah, that was.
good.
I don't mean to scare anybody like that. I know Ravens fans probably got excited. They like, whoa, we got who? Um, but no, Jacoby Myers to the Jaguars, I think was also a pretty good pickup just because Jaguars been rolling strong. And you give Trevor Lawrence another weapon over there. So, I mean, we'll see how that play pans out and how it'll turn up for the rest of the season.
Yeah, that could be one that pays off for the Jaguars because I know Travis Hunter is on IR, but if when he comes back,
Mhm.
like you could have a good set of receivers. Like Travis Hunter makes him in the offense. Brian Thomas
Yeah,
Jr. I don't think they should just give up on him yet. He's having
yeah,
a rough sophomore year, but don't give up
man.
on him yet. Jacoby Myers, like that's a good set of receivers out there in Jacksonville now.
Yeah, they're nice. And I think, right now they got a pretty decent record too. So like they've been rolling strong through the year, little bumps and bruises, but ultimately they got 6 games under their belt. So it's like you can't even, or I'm sorry, 5 games under their belt. So you can't even really like be mad at them for being active at the deadline. They're trying their best to, stay afloat in a tough AFC conference. So it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I'm just happy that they made an improvement. They definitely improved. But what's funny is they just beat the Raiders by 1 point, and now Jacoby Myers is going to the Raiders. So
That is
that is kind of
crazy.
crazy.
That
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah. I think the Quentin Williams deal was pretty good too with the Cowboys. Or yeah, with the Cowboys. Yeah, Quentin Williams. That's where he went, right?
Yeah.
Dallas. Yeah, I thought that was a good pickup for them. Obviously, it's no secret that the Cowboys defense been struggling, but I mean, he's definitely a centerpiece to build around on the defense.
Yeah. Man, I actually got two winners, two losers. I know there
Mm,
wasn't a lot that happened today, but I got some losers and who I think should have made a move. So two winners.
mm,
Unfortunately, I'll start with the damn Philadelphia Eagles. They're always winners in not free agency, but they're always winners by the trade deadline. Like Howie
every
Roseman, I don't
year.
know how he pulls it off. He
Every year.
always finesses other NFL teams. Like, and if you're a decent player with a heartbeat and you're a healthy player, like you're going to Philly at that point. If Howie Roseman is interested in you, like that's how the front office operates, and I can't blame them because they're a championship caliber team year in and year out. But they invested some help into their defense. They added Jalen Phillips, edge rusher from the
Yeah.
Miami Dolphins, former edge rusher from the Miami Dolphins. I thought that was pretty good to help their pass rush. Now, I know a lot of people might be critical about this Jair Alexander trade. Yeah, you got him for the Baltimore Ravens, but you really didn't give up much. And I know he hasn't been healthy, but if he's healthy, that could really help the Philadelphia Eagles secondary that has
Hmm.
struggled all year long. They also got Michael Carter, I think a week or so at corner to add for some depth in their secondary. But I'm actually a fan of Jalen Phillips, edge rusher for former edge rusher for the Miami Dolphins. This year, he doesn't have a lot of sacks, 3 sacks, but he's very productive on the defensive line. He has 27 pressures. He knows how to get after the quarterback. And playing with Jalen Carter and a lot of good defensive pieces that the Philadelphia Eagles have in their front seven, I think that's going to help a lot. So he's got potential, and they only gave up a third
Yeah.
round pick to get him. Uh, Again, that makes me sick as a Cowboys fan because they always pull this off year in and year out, man.
Man, yeah. I mean, it's a good investment because there's very little buy-in with a high chance of return for Jair Alexander. Like he very if he's healthy, he can very much have a huge impact with the Cowboys. So it's like man, I'm shocked, man. And it's just the Eagles being the Eagles, and they've been good, man. They've been just a model franchise over like the course of the past 7 seasons. So it's tough, man. It's tough, but you just have to give credit where it's due for the Philadelphia Eagles. As much as I dislike watching them win, and I'm sure you being a Cowboys fan, I know you dislike watching their success.
Bro, I just want that to end, bro.
I'm ready for it to end too. I'm done with the Eagles, bro. It was cool. All right, cool. Y'all beat the Chiefs. Y'all dethroned them, whatever. Y'all embarrassed them in the Super Bowl. Fun, ha ha ha. I'm done though. I'm ready for them to be like, oh my gosh, man. Ready for it to be over with them.
Yeah, next winter, I'll put my team on there, the Cowboys. Now, I know this isn't the best news being 3-5-1, but this is a good start for the right direction because my you know what? I'm gonna call my late great grandfather at this point. My late great grandfather, Jerry Jones, at 83 years old, he's showing that there's still some life in him. He's knowing that Father Time is catching up to him. He said, "Let me invest in my team," and Jerry Jones has done that. I think he's low key playing chess. When you think about it, as upset as I was back in August about the Micah Parsons trade, I still miss him dearly. That was my favorite player for the Cowboys, but you look at it, we basically traded Micah Parsons and a second round pick for and Mozzie Smith, who's one of the worst defensive tackles in football. I'm glad he's with the New York Jets now. For Quinion Williams, who is still one of the best defensive tackles in football. Kenny Clark, still a great defensive player on the defensive side of the ball, and a first round pick. That's basically what you turn this Micah Parsons trade into. So I'm liking what the Dallas Cowboys are doing, keeping up with their divisional rivals of the New York Giants. Have they built their interior defensive line? How the Eagles have built the interior defensive line. Now the Cowboys are doing it as well with Queen Williams, Kenny Clark. Um, This is really good. I do like it. Logan Wilson, I know, was a big troll this morning because we got spanked by the Cardinals in prime time, and Jerry said there's a big trade coming. Then I wake up Logan
Yeah.
Wilson as a Cowboy. Like I do think Logan Wilson giving him up or only giving up a seventh round pick to get him, even though he just got benched in Cincinnati, I think that's good for the depth of the Cowboys on linebacker because Kenneth Murray, Pro Football Focus even ranked him as one of, if not the worst linebacker in football. Like me or you, man, he might go out there and play for Kenneth Murray. That's how bad this man has been in Matt Eberflus' scheme. But I mean, we're 3-5-1. Is it the best news? No, but it makes me feel better at least that Jerry Jones is trying. I don't think we're
Yeah.
I clearly don't think we're a playoff team now, but at least you're trying for the future. That's what I can say. And you still got some draft picks to play with to rebuild this defense. So it might not be the best now, but overall, this could be heading in the right direction for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a plus for the Cowboys. And one of the things too that I can't help but to think about with the Cowboys getting Quentin Williams there is like it's not a huge financial loss, like taking his contract on. Like I think he only has 2 years left on his contract.
Yeah.
And it's not like some massive, insane deal where it's really going to hinder the Cowboys. It's like, okay, you really get 2 years to maximize this guy. If you want to pay him, you can. If you don't really have the funds to do it, maybe you stack up some more money and can bring in other guys or send him somewhere else for a draft pick or something before you resign or before he has to resign. So, I think there is a lot of leeway with it, but a temporary fix for Micah Parsons, this is definitely that. And I'm not mad at that at all. I think I mean, oh man, it pains me to say this about Jerry Jones, but I think he really did turn that situation into somewhat of a positive, especially getting George Pickens there, and now you got Quentin Williams there. So it's somewhat of a positive because he's way less expensive than what y'all would have had to pay Micah Parsons.
Yeah, and that's the only thing because Micah is getting so much money. He's like one. I think he's actually the highest paid player that's a non-quarterback right now in the NFL.
Whoa.
Having him on a payroll of Dak, CD, Micah, like I don't know how you could have really built the team around that. I really hate to say it, but
Yeah. And Micah, his contract is nasty, man. He's got a huge contract. He's up there with I think Aiden Hutchinson just became the highest paid
oh yeah,
defensive
that's
guy.
right.
I
That
think he
yeah, I forgot
just
about
broke
that.
that. But before he was there, it was Micah Parsons. And that's quarterback money, man. That's when I see them type of contracts, I'm like, that's quarterback money. And I'm not mad at the new thing of teams investing that type of money in non-quarterback players. I think that's also super important because these guys are also leaders on the team at their position. So I think it is important. But Michael was, whoo, he would have broke the bank on y'all if y'all would have opened up the checkbooks like that, and that would have hurt y'all for some years too. So
Yeah,
I think it played out very well.
yeah, and that's why I think I know Jerry ain't the same guy clearly from the '90s or before me or you were born, but like I want people to know like he's actually trying at least. Like it makes me feel better because before we started the podcast today, I was just telling you like I never would have expected him to go after a wide receiver like George Pickens. Now have it, you still gotta fix that up in the offseason, re-sign him the best of your abilities but at least he's trying. Like over the years, like we have not had a free key free agent, no really splash moves and trades other than the Amari Cooper trade up into this year. And that was back in
Yeah.
2018, 2019. So I gotta give Jerry Jones credit here. He's trying, but you gotta now this offseason, you don't rebuild this defense because this defense can't stop a cold. Like the secondary needs help, the safety, like all defensive
Yeah.
backs, you might as well just pack your bags. If you're not Deron Bland, just pack your bags and get ready to be shipped out.
Receivers looking at that Cowboys defense like a fresh piece of pie, boy. They looking at that Cowboys secondary like, oh, it's time to eat today, boy. They looking at them like Thanksgiving dinner, like, whoo. Yeah, that secondary needs help.
Yeah, for sure, bro. But I do like that we're heading in the right direction. Well, I touched up on one of the losers because the Jets, I thought they were losers today, but in the future they could be winners if they can rebuild properly. It's just gonna take
Correct.
time, like we talked about. Now I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. I'm gonna put this could be a really bold answer for a loser, Manny. I want you to hear me out on this one.
Okay, I bet.
Loser is going to be the Washington Commanders. Now, hear me out. I know that's bold to put the Commanders as a loser by the trade deadline and how their season has gone. They're 3-6. They're dead in the water right now. No playoffs. You're not seeing another NFC Championship appearance like last year. But Jaden Daniels just had a dislocated elbow. That was just a sick injury. Sunday night against the Seahawks. Marshawn Lattimore, torn ACL. Terry
Man.
McLaurin has not been healthy since he put pen to paper. Basically a PTO player since he signed that contract. But
Yeah.
the Commanders, it's over for them this season. But why I say they're losers is this team is 3-6. They only have 3 draft picks within the first five rounds in that 2026 NFL draft. So they only got one first, one third, one fifth in the first 5 rounds. That's horrible. I think by the end of the day or by the deadline, they should have traded veteran pieces like Bobby Wagner, who
Yep.
might not be there much longer. I know Marshawn Lattimore's injured. I would have tried to deal him if you could. Von Miller, you only had him there to compete this year. Zach Ertz, I would have probably shipped him off to Green Bay, a team that needs a tight end after Tucker Kraft got injured.
Yeah.
Deron Payne, like you could have got something to build up this draft capital because these veteran players ain't gonna play forever in Washington, and you're gonna start right where you started. Jaden
You're not
Daniels
wrong.
is they got their franchise quarterback, but it's just like where are you gonna go at this point?
You know, Tom, I was about to disagree with you, but you are not wrong at all. You are not wrong at all, bro. Commanders, you could definitely consider them losers in this trade deadline because we know this season for them is practically over at this point. Marcus Mariota is not going to lead them to any type of promised land.
No.
And they have the pieces over there to still deal and make moves. But I look at it from an aspect of, okay, if you know this season is over, you know your receiver is struggling, your star receiver is struggling to be healthy as well. You got enough guys on the team in other positions where you can possibly get a second round draft pick, maybe even get a fourth round draft pick. Hell, maybe get 2 fourth round draft picks. Like you could have made something happen because at this point in the NFL, man, you can find some good talent in the fourth, fifth round, even the sixth round. You can find some
Oh yeah.
elite talent all through the draft. So it's like the Commanders could have done something to at least help that process of rebuilding and coming back better for next year rather than not doing anything at all. So I agree with you wholeheartedly that Commanders, you can consider them losers for this trade deadline.
Yeah, and I'm actually gonna look up their average because I know they have a lot of veteran players. Commanders
I mean,
average.
yeah, hell, just Bobby Wagner and Zach Ertz. Like, yes, those guys are crucial. Obviously, especially Zach Ertz, man. Zach Ertz is very crucial
Yeah.
for that offense. And I get it. That's somebody you don't want to go. But I'm sure if they put him up on the market, there would have been multiple teams
Oh
throwing
yeah.
second round, third rounds, fourth rounds, if not all in one type of deal. And then you mentioned you got Bobby Wagner. He's kind of on the back end of his career, but ultimately, we teams I'm sure know they're not looking for Bobby Wagner to go out there and play every single snap on the football field. If you already have some depth at the position of linebackers, then you add Bobby Wagner. That's just going to make that defense much more elite because now you have elite rotations coming off the field in every formation that you decide to play on the defensive end. So it's not like they didn't have options at the deadline where they could move people. And hell, we know they're not going to the playoffs this year. So why not take some of those guys and just go ahead, deal them off, and try and rebuild, add some more pieces through the draft. That's the way I would have looked at it, especially because then you would have had healthier players coming back next year. You could tell Terry McLaurin, don't even rush. Don't worry about it. Take your time. We just need you ready for next year. Jaden Daniels, same situation. Don't rush. Don't worry about nothing. Just come back next year, and that's when we're going to come full throttle.
Yeah, and the thing is, like these expiring contract, like Zach Ertz, I guarantee you, if the Packers picked up the phone today after the Tucker Kraft ACL injury, they would have been like, "Hey, we need a solid tight end to go on a run." Like, you
Yeah.
could have got something solid for that. Like, it might have been a little rental, but Packers, like, just for example, that's a team that's ready to go and win it all this year. And looking at it, the Commanders actually have the oldest average roster age in the league at 28 years old as of 2025. So those veteran
Crazy.
players like Bobby Wagner, yeah, he was there last year, but he's only there to compete. Von Miller, you should have just got rid of him if you could have got something. If any contending team was interested, like there's a lot of pieces you could have dealt because if you don't land anybody in free agency, how are you going to get this team to be better? Because one draft pick in the first round, one draft pick in the third round, one draft pick in the fifth round, the first 5 rounds, that's not a good recipe for success for anybody in the NFL if you
Yeah.
don't have that elite roster to compete now.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you on that, man. You could definitely chuck the Commanders up as an L for this deadline because they could have made something happen.
Yeah, I would have been sellers and not, well, you really had nothing to buy with the capital you got. But I definitely would have been a seller if I were them trying to move around some veteran pieces, at least get something to look forward to for the NFL draft.
Yeah, because that's rough. That's rough in their situation.
Yeah, so we'll see how they play out. I hope it's bad, but we'll see how the future plays out for the Commanders.
Division
Um,
rivals be like.
we'll go ahead and move on to the next segment. So we'll talk about the NFL game that we've seen, the legendary quarterback matchup of this era now in the NFL between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. So Manny, what's your thoughts on the Bills defeating the Chiefs Sunday in the National Football League?
Initially when I looked at this game, man, I had some regret because I'm like, damn it, man, I should have bet my whole life savings on Josh Allen and the Bills to win this regular season matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't even know why I had any doubt in my mind about the Chiefs possibly winning when every single year for the last 5 seasons, 4 seasons, we've seen the Bills dominate the Chiefs in the regular season and then go out when it matters most and lose. So I wasn't really like putting too much emphasis on this game. Of course, there's always a good matchup between Bills, Chiefs, and that's exactly what we got. But above all, I don't really try and make too many harsh judgments from the regular season games in this matchup of the Chiefs Bills because every time it matters most, don't matter if you're in Kansas City, don't matter if you're in Buffalo, somehow the Chiefs win whenever it's a win or go home situation. So like congrats to the Bills. Happy they won again. Hang up the banner for them. But ultimately, I'm not gonna be moved by this until it's the playoffs or it's a wild card or whatever the situation is where they got to see the Chiefs in the postseason and they actually win. Then I'll be like, all right, cool. This was something where we can really start putting under our belt, and this is something we can talk about and make some crazy generalizations from.
Yeah, it's it's actually crazy when you think about it because I'm like, why do they always beat them in the regular season, but then it's always the same outcome? Like it's
Man,
crazy. I will give the Bills their credit, but like you said, like why do they always beat them in the regular season, but then the playoffs they always lose? Like even
always
it's gotten to the point where Mahomes keeps beating Allen in the playoffs to the point where they changed the whole format of the overtime rules in the
overtime,
playoffs.
all of that. And what's crazy is like, so I actually meant to mention this is the regular season happens. Josh Allen is 4-0 against Patrick Mahomes in the regular season. Meanwhile, Patrick Mahomes is 4-0 against Josh Allen in the postseason. So it's like, okay, cool. Bills win again in the regular season, but it's like I can't really be moved by that when they don't win in situations where they absolutely need to win. So it's like it's cool, but I'm not gonna be moved by it, and I'm not gonna think anything different until it happens in the regular season.
Yeah, that's the crazy part about it when these two teams play. The Sunday though, it's and that's another crazy stat too, is when these two teams play, it always comes down to which quarterback's offense played better or which
Yeah,
quarterback has the ball last. In this sense, it was the Bills offense that played better than the Chiefs defense or than the Chiefs offense. But the
yeah,
Bills had a better offense in this game. I mean, I think Josh Allen outplayed Patrick Mahomes. The Bills offense actually had more first downs and controlled the time possession in
yep.
this ball game. And I think they did a really good job with their tight ends and in the running game because Dalton Kincaid came up clutch at the tight end position, 6 catches for 101 receiving yards and a touchdown. James Cook had a total of
All
114
done.
rushing yards. So they were in sync. The running backs and tight ends were in sync with Josh Allen as this game went on. But the Bills defense, I do believe, I mean, they allowed 21 points, but they didn't let Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs offense fully get in the rhythm in this game. So it is crazy that Allen, again, does have a better record in the regular season than Mahomes. Then Mahomes just wipes him away in the playoffs, like we just talked about, changed the whole format of the overtime rules and all. Like, I just
Yeah.
want, why? I feel like this is like a weird Bermuda Triangle between Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, like they're always gonna one of them are always gonna play each other in the playoffs, but at the end it's always Patrick Mahomes that always surpasses
That's
both of them. It's
this is
crazy, bro.
this is true. This is true, and this has happened. This is proved to be true over like the past 5 years. Like whether it's Lamar Jackson seeing Pat Mahomes or whatever the case is, it doesn't usually doesn't matter. And like even when Lamar has the team to do it, he still doesn't get it done, which is crazy. But like that's a whole nother story. But like going back to to this regular season, the Chiefs Bills, I thought you hit it right on the nail. Time of possession. Bills did a great job managing the clock. And keeping Pat Mahomes off the field. A lot of these times, it's not necessarily like how great is your defense playing or anything like that. It's like, can you control the clock? And both of these teams do that very well. Chiefs control the clock extremely well, and the Bills control the clock extremely well. And also opening up that ground game was a huge point that helped them be able to do that, getting James Cook involved, and like he balled out. So I think whenever these teams match up, and not just these teams where it's an elite quarterback matchup, that's usually what it comes down to is like which team can control the clock better. And ultimately, if your defense is standing tall, then of course that helps that of course that helps as well. But you just never really know how it's going to play out in terms of if the defense is going to have their game or if the offense is going to be the one that's super explosive and end up pulling off the matchup. But like you said too, it also goes back to like who has the ball last.
Yeah, and that's the craziest thing about it. I think it's like the perfect comparison to them would obviously be like prime Peyton Manning and prime Tom Brady battling out at the quarterback position. And now it's like we're getting prime Allen versus Mahomes in primetime
Yeah.
football. So I always can't get enough of when they match up against each other. I think it's really fun to watch. But I just find it so strange that the rivalry is just so lopsided in the regular season, then it's so lopsided in the postseason. Like, can we get some balance at least?
It is crazy. It's crazy how that played out, or how it plays out, I should say.
Yeah, and the only man that knows how to well, the only two quarterbacks that have cracked the code in the AFC against Mahomes in the playoffs, it's crazy. It's only been Burrow and Tom Brady, bro.
That's
That
it.
is literally crazy about Patrick Mahomes.
That is crazy. I mean, well, now some people say Jalen Hurts is in that conversation as well. That's what some people say too.
Oh
But
yeah, the Super Bowl. Yeah, you can say that too.
I don't think he's beat Mahomes enough. I mean, you beat a person one time. But I mean, he did beat Mahomes. So it's like it goes hand in hand. So I think he could be, it's safe to say he's included in that conversation. If we gonna throw Joe Burrow in there and we gonna throw Tom Brady in there, then I think it's only right that we throw Jalen Hurts in there as well.
Yeah, that's true. Also, I can't stand Jalen Hurts, but that is true also though. um, but we'll go ahead and move on to the next segment. We're gonna pivot over here to the world of NBA. So, Manny, we're gonna share our NBA Cup predictions. It's crazy that the time has already came now. But we're gonna be sharing our NBA in-season Cup tournament predictions. So we'll start off in the Eastern Conference, go over Group A, Group B, Group C, which teams we do believe are gonna make it out, and then we'll do the same with the Western Conference. So we'll start in the East. Group A, you got the Indiana Pacers, the Atlanta Hawks, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Toronto Raptors, and the Washington Wizards. Who do you think is gonna make it out of Group A in the East?
Dog, there's only one correct answer, and that answer is the Cleveland Cavaliers. They practically have a cakewalk to get out this group in the Group A for this in-season tournament, bro. Like they just don't have much competition. Granted, you can never sleep on anybody because the cool thing about the NBA Cup is like it's one game, so anything can happen. But regular season tournament is what like ultimately talking about. One game is all you need to win. I think because it's a regular season, mid-season, whatever you want to call it, Cavs are usually fresh at that time. That's when they're playing their best ball. And yeah, I got the Cavs coming out of this group.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Cavs could come out of this group. I trust the talent that they have, the overall roster that they have. It's honestly the easiest. I think this is the easiest group in the Eastern Conference to play in tournament.
Yeah.
I like the sneaky teams only because it's a end season tournament compared to the playoffs. I will look out for the Raptors. If
Yeah.
anybody's going to make some noise or pull off an upset to come out of Group A, I think the Raptors could do it. I kind of like what I've been seeing from the two games that I've seen them play thus far early on in the season. But I agree with you. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers make it out of this group as well.
Yeah, there. I mean, yeah. Again, anything can happen because it's one game. But Raptors definitely good competition. But outside of them, maybe Atlanta. But I don't. I'm really not sold on Atlanta just yet. So I think you hit it on the nail with that.
Yeah. Group B, you got the Boston Celtics, the Orlando Magic, the your Detroit Pistons, the Philadelphia 76ers, and the Brooklyn Nets. I'm guessing you're going with the Pistons here.
Man, I am going with the Pistons, but I'm not 100% confident that they'll come out this group.
Ooh,
Just because there's competition. There's competition. Like
yeah.
the Orlando Magic, they're not scrubs. And that's probably the team I'm most concerned about. 76ers have also been playing some good ball too. So I'm a little concerned about them. But in terms of most complete team, I think it is the Pistons in this group, especially considering Boston only has Jaylen Brown as the scoring option right now. That is not the same team at all from last year. So not too worried about them. But the Orlando Magic is a team that has my eye. I think they can make some noise, and the 76ers just been playing good so far to start the year. So it's like anything can happen in a one game series where a winner moves on. But ultimately, I think it's truthfully Pistons group to lose. Like they have the advantage here, and I'm expecting them to definitely come out this group play.
Yeah, I think this could be close. I like what you said about the Celtics because what I've seen from them, it's just like clearly not the same team. Like Jaylen Brown is not the guy to carry I would say a younger team with less talent. I mean, that's who the
Yeah.
Celtics are going to be after they dealt out all those players, and Jason Tatum is out for the year. So you know what you're getting. The Orlando Magic could be a team. I do like the Pistons a lot. I'm not worried about the Brooklyn Nets. You know what? I'm gonna go with the 76ers here. I could be wrong.
Mm.
I'm gonna go with the 76ers. I
Hey,
do like what I've seen. They are playing some strong basketball. They got a good offensive rookie in VJ. He's averaging 20 points per game. They do
man.
have some depth out there in Philly, but it depends how this team is going to really compete as the games go on because you got to have a certain amount of wins to advance. I like the 76ers. I could be wrong here, but I'm going to go with the 76ers as my pick.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. I mean, they've from the start of the season, they've been playing good, and I'm pretty sure they got the best record in the East right now. So I don't want to just completely ignore what they've been doing so far to start the season. So I mean, yeah, that's safe too, and I think it could go either way, man. It could really go either way. It'll be if I have to choose games to watch so far in the East, I'm definitely tuning in to this Group B play in the East.
Yeah, Group B is definitely going to be fun to watch. I got my eye on Group C, the last group we'll talk about in the East. They got some teams here too. You got the
Mhm.
Chicago Bulls, the Miami Heat, the New York Knicks, the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Charlotte Hornets. I think this could be a sleeper for being the best one between Group B and Group C. But what's your thoughts on this one, Manny?
Yeah, I agree with you. This is definitely a group play stage where, I mean, you don't know what can happen because Miami Heat, they're playing pretty solid right now. They're getting up a lot of points. The Bucks obviously have Giannis. The Bulls not looking bad. Like granted, teams haven't even played 10 games yet, so it's hard to make a true generalization of if they're actually good or not. But I think just
Yeah.
from the way these teams are orchestrated, you see a lot of good competition. But if I had to choose a team to come out of this group stage, I'm going with the New York Knicks.
Ooh, New York Knicks isn't a bad pick. They're the favorites here. You know what? I'm on an upset roll. I'm going with my Miami Heat to win this.
Oh, I knew it. I knew it.
I was going to take a lot for them to win this group because you got the Bulls that sitting at the top of the East. The Knicks are good. Giannis is playing really good from what I've seen thus far. I'm
Yeah,
not really. I think the Hornets they're not there for being a contender yet, but I think the as long as they continue to grow this roster, they could be up there. But man, you never know with these tournaments. So I'm gonna go with the Heat. I mean, they're a competitive team, as we know. Eric Spoelstra always coaches this team pretty well.
yeah,
They're a physical team. I think they could get hot, go on some runs, get some defensive stops, make some threes. They could be up there. I mean, they're averaging 124 points per game, so it's tough to think about when you got the Knicks and the Bulls and the Bucks in here. But I'm a play
yeah.
as a devil's advocate. I'm gonna go with the Heat for the upset though. But I think this one too, just like Group B, is gonna be really fun in the East.
I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at that at all. I can accept the argument for the Miami Heat just because it's such a toss up in this group.
Yeah, and wins and losses is going to matter. West. We're gonna get this one over with. I'm actually disappointed how they built this one. Group Group A, you got the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Phoenix Suns, the Utah Jazz, the Sacramento Kings, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Who you think's making it out of Group A?
Man, we going OKC, man. Unfortunately, I think OKC takes it, especially with Anthony Edwards being down for a couple of weeks. I just don't think they'll end up getting enough wins where they can like compete and get the rhythm to be able to beat OKC. And honestly, even if Anthony Edwards was healthy, I still don't think they beat OKC, man. That's a good team. That's a good basketball team, man. Yeah, OKC without a doubt.
Yeah, I agree with that too. If the Timberwolves were around, they could be, I guess, a fun team for people to pick. But Anthony Edwards being sidelined, I don't think they're going to do enough. The rest of this group is pretty sorry. Yeah, Oklahoma City Thunder is going to get it done. A
Yeah,
group
they're taking it.
Group B, though, I'm looking at Group B. It gets a little spicier. I want to know your thoughts on Group B in the West. So you got the Memphis Grizzlies, the Dallas Mavericks, the New Orleans Pelicans, probably the worst team in here, the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Los Angeles Clippers. Who you think's coming out of Group B?
All right, so I'm gonna just go process of elimination because I really don't like the team that I want to choose or that I have to choose, unfortunately.
Uh-oh.
So New Orleans Pelicans 0-6. They haven't won a single game so far. Granted, anything can still happen, but they're just playing bad basketball. I'm not picking them at all. Eliminated. Memphis Grizzlies, they have a star that don't even want to be there right now, Ja Morant. He's about to quit playing basketball and start rapping. Give it like 3 weeks, and I guarantee it happens. So they're eliminated. And then from there, you go on to, let's say, the Los Angeles Clippers. You never really know what you're going to get from the Los Angeles Clippers. Is Kawhi going to be healthy enough to even play in this group stage? Is he not? I mean, like, you just don't know. So I'm going to eliminate the Clippers. And then Dallas Mavericks and the Lakers are the only two teams that are really here. Mavericks, they're a very young team, but the Mavericks, I mean, I should have eliminated them earlier because they're not playing good ball either. They're still very young. We just seen AD go down. Oh, what a surprise. So unfortunately, with this group stage, I just got to pick the Lakers to win it. So I think the Lakers make it out this group for sure.
Yeah, he made me laugh when you said the John Morant because
Yeah,
that's
bro, he's
actually
cool.
a crazy developing story with John Morant because it's just like here we go again. The man's healthy, but like, do you want to be a baller? Like, what do you
Man,
really want to do with your
eh.
skills? Like, do you really want to be with the Memphis Grizzlies? If not, request a trade to make the NBA season more entertaining. But yeah, process of elimination was a really good thing that you said because the Pelicans not doing nothing. I don't even know what they do for the rest of the year with this roster.
Man.
Um, the Clippers. See, I like what they did in the offseason. I mean, you bring in the veteran players of Bradley Beal and Chris Paul. They just look old. Like I don't know what.
Are old.
Yeah, they are old.
They're old as hell.
They might actually be the oldest team, or them and the Warriors might be the oldest team average age in the league right now, with a lot of veteran pieces. Like you said, the Mavericks, Anthony Davis down. Mm, yeah, process. I'm gonna go with the Lakers. I think I'm gonna go with the Lakers. From what I've seen from Luka Doncic, I like. He's
Yeah.
looking like a real leader on the court with this Lakers team while LeBron's been out with an injury.
Good hooping.
Austin Reeves. I like them. I like them right now. I think they're 6-2. I've only caught like one of the games, and I had to watch the highlights from the Lakers so far. But what I've seen, I do like them, so I'll pick them to win this group.
Yeah, I think it's just unfortunate. I think it's gonna go to the Lakers. I feel like the Lakers. That's a whole nother. That's a story for a different time. I was gonna compare the Lakers to Cowboys fans, but
Hey,
that's a
yeah.
different conversation. My bad, bro. I ain't trying to throw no jabs. I ain't trying to rile no Lakers fans up, nothing like that. But I'll save it for a different day.
All right, Group C. I think this is actually the best group in the West. You got the San Antonio Spurs, the Houston Rockets, the Denver Nuggets, the Golden State Warriors, and the Portland Trailblazers. There ain't no Chauncey Billups there, but we know. But those five teams, who you think's making it out of Group C?
Oh, Group C is tough because you got a lot of teams that honestly I think will compete for a playoff spot down the line.
Hmm.
Spurs with Wimby, definitely don't want to count them out. Nuggets can't count them out. Rockets can't count them out either. But I think this is really gonna be a toss up, and this is probably that group stage to really zone in and lock in and pay attention to. But I think Wemby has shown a different type of hunger. So I'm gonna just go for the young fellow on this, man. All it takes is 1 or 2 games to go ahead and win that NBA Cup. So I'm gonna go with Wemby to to will his team, them Spurs, and win this NBA or win this group, I should say.
Yeah, this is gonna be an exciting group right here. I like all 4 out of the 5 of the teams. The
Yeah,
Spurs, the way how Victor Wembanyama has been playing, he's looked so good. And this is a perfect way to capitalize like the next one of the next biggest stars in an in-season tournament like this. You could bring more viewership in with a
true.
player like Victor Wembanyama winning the in-season tournament possibly. I'm gonna go with the veteran team here. I'm gonna go with the Warriors. I think this is a group that can
Mm.
win this type of tournament. I think Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, Al Horford, and company with a mix of their rotation. If they could go on a run, making some key 3 pointers, get into the foul line, go to the free throw line, get points there, go on some defensive runs, get some defensive stops, I should say. I think they could be a contending team. I do like the Spurs a lot. I actually like the Rockets too, but I'm
Mm.
gonna go with the Warriors here to win the group.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at see like I can't even really rebuttal that because it's not like a full series. Like if you win a couple games, then you're all right. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think Warriors got a shot. They've been playing pretty good so far. So I mean, obviously you can never count Steph out. And I mean, yeah, it's just gonna be tough, man. You got a lot of star power over in this group play of the West of Group C in the West. So you got a lot of star power over there. So it's hard to tell who's really gonna win that one.
Yeah, before we move on though, because I know we got a long way to go, like a month or so before the finals of this tournament. If you can map out who you think will be in the finals of the NBA Cup tournament this year, who you think is going to represent the East, and who you think is going to represent the West?
I think the Lakers go and represent the West.
Mm,
And I think we see the Cavs represent in the East.
mm.
Regular season, I see Lakers playing the Cavs in the in-season tournament. Lakers, they got an easy road to already get out the group play. So once they do that, then I mean, you just ride the momentum at that point. They've also been playing pretty good ball to start the season. And when they get LeBron back, also that's going to be a major shift in that team too. And hopefully it works for the better for their sake, but I mean, it's getting literally LeBron back. So it's like whether he's doing a lot or a little bit, like either way, Luka's been playing incredible. So I think that's going to be a pivotal change of why the West will end up being able to get out of the West, or why the Lakers will be able to get out of the West. And then for the Cavs, all they really got to do is make it out of Group A. And after that, they kind of got everybody else's card. That's a very dynamic team. I think they have the best roster up and down in the Eastern Conference, and regular season is usually when they thrive. So, Cavs, I can see them coming out the East and possibly even winning the NBA Cup. So, I think NBA Cup finalist is going to be the Lakers and the Cavs.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like over the last few years, the first 2 years of the tournament, the winners have been a little weird. Like first year was the Lakers out of all teams. Like that was actually surprising to me. Then last year, was it the Bucks that won it all? I think it was the Bucks,
Pace.
right?
I think it was either Bucks or Pace. No, it was Bucks. Yeah, because Dame Dame was holding the trophy and stuff. Yeah, it was the Bucks.
I wish he could have held an NBA title, but I love me some Damian Lillard. But yeah, my finals West. I mean, I think OKC has the easiest route out of all the groups. I'll go with
Mhm.
OKC to make it out of Group A, out of the West, I should say. OKC to make it out of the West, and then for the East, I agree with you. I'm gonna go with the Cavs. I think that would be one of the best matchups. I mean, that could be a finals matchup depending on how things go.
Yeah.
But definitely, I think those two teams can represent their respective conferences for this tournament. If I had a winner, I don't want to pick the NBA champions because you never know what can happen. I might pick the Cavs to win it all, truthfully, for this tournament this
Mm.
year.
Yeah, I think tournament, that's a safe bet. That's a safe bet because they thrive in the regular season also.
Yeah, and that was a team that never looked back. Like they basically hid with the first seed in the
Yep.
Eastern Conference. I mean, they didn't finish strong, but they like hid with the lead in the East and never looked back.
Yeah, this is so true. And I think too, they match up with anybody very well because that's such a dynamic team.
Yeah, I agree with that. Um, but we're gonna go ahead and move on to the final segment here. So we're gonna pivot over to the world of baseball. Manny, we just saw one of, if not the greatest World Series of all time. The Dodgers going back to back, defeating the Blue Jays in Game 7, win the series 4-3. Manny, what's your thoughts overall on the World Series that we just saw between the Dodgers and the Blue Jays?
Man, I thought this was a phenomenal World Series. Like, I don't think we could have asked for a better World Series. I personally wasn't happy with the outcome. I wanted the Blue Jays to win, but ultimately, I'm not even mad at the way the Dodgers won it because it went to 7 games. This series was back and forth every single game. We saw what, game 3 go to 18 innings. I didn't stay up for that, but I mean, for those who did, like, just absolute cinema, and it ended in a walk-off. Like, yeah, like we couldn't have asked for better baseball for a World Series matchup. This just did not disappoint at all. We saw great pitching on both sides, on both teams, and like it was just it was absolute cinema. Literally every single game, every single game. If yeah, I was just shocked by this World Series. It was really a good series. So I'm not even mad that the Dodgers won because I didn't want them to win, but I couldn't even be mad because it was such a great World Series.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I think this World Series, in my opinion, might have been the greatest World Series that I watched in my lifetime. Like, it was so special. It was the first World Series that went to Game 7 that we've seen in like 6, 7 years when the Nationals won it all back in 2019 against the Astros. So it's been a long time coming, but Game 7 Saturday night, that was one of the greatest sports games I ever watched. I mean, from start to
Yeah.
finish, absolute cinema. Like, there were so many defensive sequences where the defensive play from both teams kept the ball game alive, and each team just needed one more spark. And I know for the Blue Jays, I know that's going to haunt them for the rest of their
Man.
lives until they see another World Series title. Bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, 1 out. Like, you don't close out the game and at least get one more run to win a World Series, bring it back to the sixth. I know that's tough for them, but it
Yeah.
was just so dramatic. And then going to extra innings was ice on the cake. In Game 7, also Miguel Rojas, the ninth hitter for the Dodgers, the least expected player to bring you some type of spark when you're down by 1 run. The bottom of the ninth, 3 outs determines your whole entire season, and he gets you a solo shot home run to tie the game. Like, you can't ask for some better baseball than that. And
Man,
like you said, Game 3, absolute cinema, going to 18 innings, and then the walk off by Freddie Freeman.
just
Um,
crazy.
Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I mean, the Dodgers just found another
Eight
one. The
ball.
pitcher from
Man,
Japan. He deserved MVP because like the series he pitched Game 6 and then came in after Game 6 as a reliever for Game 7 and came in the clutch for the Dodgers
man.
defensively. Like, man, you can't ask for better baseball for what we got for the World Series here.
Yeah, and that's why I say like despite how much I wanted the Blue Jays to win, and yeah, I didn't want the Dodgers to win. Like I couldn't even be mad because there was like it was just absolute cinema. Like it was just good baseball. And also one of the things I think it's controversial, but I truly think it makes for great sports moments is some of the controversial calls. Like the when the ball got stuck in game 6,
Oh,
obviously
the wedge.
yeah, the wedge when the wedge happened in game 6, obviously this could have just transformed the entire series. Like it would have made that game completely different.
Yeah.
Granted, the Blue Jays probably would have won. But like just the controversial calls play a part in how great a series is going to be. And we've seen a lot of controversial calls, whether it was a runner being safe, whether he was being out. Like this happened in every single game where it was just at least one thing a person could really nitpick at on both sides, not just for the Dodgers, not just for the Blue Jays. You can nitpick at certain things across game 1 through game 7 for both teams that said this was unfair or this was completely fair. So I thought the umps did the best job they could in terms of getting these calls correct. There wasn't anything where it was just a complete slide deal like, oh, obviously they got robbed or it was a clear robbery. I thought the wedge was. Oh man, it is just so unfortunate. That was just so unfortunate that
Yeah.
it did get wedged because that was supposed to be it for the Blue Jays. But it was very unfortunate, man. And by the book, it looks like that is the definition of a wedge. So, it was just absolute cinema all around. I thought we seen some great individual performances. And one of the things that's the craziest to me is that Freddie Freeman, this is now his sixth straight World Series. Six straight World Series, which is just crazy because like we gonna have to start coming up with some narratives for this type of category. Because I mean, he shows up big in every World Series, which is also crazy because he practically won them game three. So like it's insane to me. But ultimately, I have nothing bad to say about this World Series. And honestly, for me personally, it's gonna change the way I look at baseball forever.
Yeah, and to the wedge for Game 6, like I hate to say it for the Blue Jays, but for the Dodgers to pull that off, that was some elite ball knowledge, bro. You know, said wedge.
Man,
He put up the
no,
hands
no,
and everything. He
yeah,
said, "Nope."
no.
That
Yeah,
was
that
some
was
elite ball knowledge, bro. We haven't seen. I can't remember the last time I saw a wedge like that in baseball in a long time. But yeah, like for players like Freddie Freeman, like Mookie Betts, now Ohtani, like all these players, they're just
Tiny,
so
yeah.
accustomed to the big moments, the big lights, and winning championships. Like what's that player? Will Smith on the
Will
Dodgers. Will
Smith,
Smith on
yeah.
the
Another one.
he's like low key the groupie baseball. Yo, he's actually been on the he's been on the last 5 to 6 World Series championship teams. I'm not even joking. Like this man has probably won 6 straight World Series titles over the last 6 years because he's been a part of the Dodgers, the Rangers, like everybody that's won over
Man.
the last 6 years. Like he's got a championship out of those teams. Like it's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. And also too, again, I did not want the Dodgers to win. But ultimately you got to be happy for guys like Kershaw. Kershaw going out with a bang. And,
Yeah.
and just like you think about certain things and it's like obviously it's rough, but I mean, it was just good baseball all around, and everybody showed up too. Like for the most part, I know some people argue about Mookie Betts if he kind of got carried there, which you can argue that he did. But ultimately,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
seen we seen the stars show up. We seen Vladdy show up. We seen Otani show up. We seen Yamamoto show up. Like we seen the stars of the series show up big in clutch moments, and also just in every single game. Because like it was incredible, and I think that was one of my favorite parts about it is like you truly didn't know who was going to win. And at one point I started thinking, I'm like, okay, well obviously Otani, he's the guy of face of the league practically at this point. So it made me start thinking like face of the leagues, LeBron go to the finals, usually ends in LeBron winning. Jordan was going to the finals, usually results in Jordan winning. So I'm like, damn, they might give it to Otani, but there was nothing where it was like a blame, we're going to give it to Otani. It was earned. So it's like, I respect it. I respect it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just like one of those moments where you just gotta throw your hat off to the team that did it all or won it all. And them type of
Yeah.
situations, like everybody played even for the Blue Jays, like everybody played a key factor. Whether you were a
Yes.
pitcher, reliever, closer, a clutch hitter, like everybody in this series played a part. You could have you could say the Dodgers star players came to play. I mean, other than Mookie
Man.
Betts, I thought he had a pretty rough series, like you just said. The defensive play out of the Blue Jays, they had a rookie. I forgot his name. The rookie pitcher was just like a single A
Oh,
pitcher in the beginning of the year, and then came up clutch in the World Series and throughout the postseason for the Blue Jays. Like they overall, like it sucks for the Blue Jays because they haven't won a World Series title in 32 years, and you were literally this close to winning it
man.
all, just a few plays away. But that's how crazy this whole entire series was. Just a seesaw battle back and forth to win it all.
Yeah, that was insane. And the rookie, Yesevich or something
That's
like
what his
that.
name is. Yeah.
Yeah, Yesevich, something like that. However you say it. I know exactly who you're talking about. I just don't know how to pronounce his name. But I know exactly who you're talking about. He did his thing too, man. Like it was a great World Series. And I thought everybody showed up and like I I was amazed. I was amazed.
Yeah. I do have a question for you, man, before we close out the show.
Hmm.
Um, so the Dodgers now they won back-to-back World Series titles, and I think honestly, I might as well just say it now. They might go on a three-peat next year. I really think they might if they keep this group together, and they might get some more help during the offseason. But with the Dodgers being the new kings of baseball now, do you think, and I should say also too, they're the new kings of baseball. They won 3 World Series titles in the decades of the 2020s. Do you think there should be an MLB salary cap moving forward for the foreseeable future in baseball?
So I want to say yes. I want to say yes, it needs to be a salary cap. But my fear of saying the MLB needs a salary cap is put to an end because I truthfully think even if they do have a salary cap, Dodgers would still probably dominate just as much because right now they're paying a shit ton in luxury tax and I mean, they have it. They have it. It doesn't even matter to them because they're bringing in so much money year in and year out. You're going to play in the World Series every single year. So you're recouping whatever you got to pay in luxury tax anyway. So if we establish this salary cap, yeah, you can't go over this threshold, but what are the Dodgers going to do anyway? Okay, we'll that's fine. We'll enter the luxury tax. We get penalized. That's fine. Who cares? We're going to go back to the World Series anyway. So it's like obviously, I think it just depends on how it's going to be negotiated in terms of what will the salary cap be? Is it like what kind of threshold would it be? What the penalties will be if you go over the salary cap? Whatever the case is, but ultimately, the truth is, it's just I mean it's plain and simple in baseball. The truth is just teams just don't spend money, and the Dodgers spend, so they always get a good return on their investment. Like they spend money. Like a lot of teams have talent and they lose these guys because they don't want to spend money. And with a sport that has no salary cap, there's literally no need to be cheap. Like this is the easiest way to get a return on your investment. If you know you have a guy who can bring obviously fans to seats and stuff like that, bring him back. And if he can also help your team advance and you can build around him, why not spend the money and get a good return on your investment? So we see a lot of teams that's dominating. They usually spend money. Like Blue Jays did it the correct way. They draft well. They paid certain guys. They kept guys. They retained them. And they spent money, which is ultimately why they were good and they went to the World Series. We seen again, even the Mariners are another team. The whole offseason, they made some moves at the deadline. They spent money. Usually, teams that spend money end up having some sort of success. So
Yeah.
ultimately, like I can't even really be mad at the Dodgers. I know they're a powerhouse. I know they're so dominant, and I know they're annoying to watch win over and over again. But ultimately, if you're a fan of a team like mine, the Tigers, you can't really be mad at the Dodgers. You just got to be mad at your team that they're not spending money when it seems to clearly be the formula that's working for everybody.
Yeah, this is like a touchy conversation in baseball because like I'm on the edge of this. Um, like honestly, I can understand both sides. Like you said, for the you don't think the MLB should have a salary cap, and then I think like yeah, it's a lot of fun watching these top tier teams like the Dodgers and the Yankees. I hate to say it is a lot of fun,
Yeah.
but then you look at the smaller market teams. You think of like teams like the Pirates that don't have a flying chance. Even though the Baltimore Orioles are red hot, being in the area, like I could say for over the years, like they've suffered of having like the Red Sox and the Yankees, and now the Blue Jays be some. The Rays were a really good team back in the day too. So they've had some dominant teams in their way. Like I feel bad for the smaller market teams because they don't have the investments like the bigger market teams like do, like the Dodgers and the Yankees. I do think if there is a salary cap, like can you stop a team like the Dodgers, like you said, can you still stop a team like the Yankees? Because they've still somehow, some way, have afforded the top tier players. So I think it'd be interesting, but I think it could create more balance in the league between top tier teams. Like, can they still hang on? And then you have the mid tier teams that are right there as contenders, but not there just yet, having the resources to contend. Like it's a touchy topic for baseball. Like you obviously know, like for football, you need one. NBA, you definitely need one. But for MLB, like you said, it's like it's really all about growing a championship caliber team. That's why I think overall, baseball I think is the hardest championship to win a championship in because you got to draft well, and once you draft them, like these players ain't going straight to the league. Like they're being built through the minor leagues, the whole system.
Yeah.
And the offseason is so rare to see a top tier star like a Otani or Aaron Judge on the market because these teams lock them up for 12 plus years. So it's hard for baseball. I want to say 2026 at the end of the 2026 season next year. I do think we could be on the way to a salary cap if the league does in a lockout mode. It could happen, but I definitely am on the fence with should they have a salary cap or not? Because if you do, is that really going to affect everybody? Because they're still going to have their top tier players still locked up for plenty of years.
Yeah, that part. And then honestly, though, Tom, this is the main thing I think about with the salary cap. Like, and I genuinely don't know. So I like, if you know the answer, please let me know. If anybody else see this and they know the answer, I'm genuinely curious if a salary cap will fix this. So we look at teams who've been good over the past few years, and I'm gonna just give some numbers really quick. We look at the Mets. The Mets, they made over 400 million last year in revenue. They spent 90% of their revenue in terms of paying guys and just reinvesting that revenue. The Dodgers, they made a crazy amount of money. They spent 73% of their revenue in reinvesting that. You look at a team like the Chicago Cubs, who made almost just as much as revenue as the LA Dodgers. They spent 36% of their revenue from the previous year. So I just genuinely don't know if like a salary cap will fix that when you have certain teams that just don't want to spend money. Like another team, White Sox, you're in Chicago, huge market. You still make a good amount of revenue, but you spend 31% of the revenue that you brought in from the following year. I just don't know if a salary cap will fix that. So I'm like genuinely curious if anybody out there knows. Please let me know. If you know, Tom, please let me know. Cause
Yeah.
I don't think a salary cap will fix it.
Yeah, and I don't have the clearest answer, but it's just like it's interesting to think about because like you said, baseball they do make a lot of money from these games. I mean, they play like 162 games a year, so that's a lot of home games you're
Mhm.
making from fans, the merchandise you're getting from fans. It's gonna be something that I think an answer that me and you are looking for. I think at the end of next year, the owners are gonna sit down and have a conversation about this and then there could possibly be a lockout heading into the spring season for 2027. I think that's where we're going to get the answer of
Yeah.
if a salary cap can fix things or not. Because I do believe next winter the owners are going to sit down and have this realistic conversation. So next year, I know for a fact they're going to play the season normally when they start in the spring, but after around this time next year, no matter who wins it all next year, I think in December, January, they're gonna have a sit down conversation. I think that question is gonna be answered for us.
Yeah, that's just what I think about when I think about salary cap. So it'll be interesting to see though.
Yeah, yeah, Manny, man, we chopped it up. We talked about a lot. We talked about football, basketball, baseball tonight. So I just want to thank you again for coming on, Manny. Where can the people that follow the podcast check out the Run Podcast on Instagram? Anything social media? Where can we find you at?
Yeah, check us out on Instagram at the Run Podcast. TikTok is at the Run Podcast. Facebook at the Run Podcast. YouTube is the Run with Manny Wilson. Also, if you're going to listen to the pod version, definitely check us out on all podcast platforms at the Run with Manny Wilson. So check us out, man. And Tom, of course, man, I appreciate you for having me on here. It's always a blast coming on here. So I'm just glad we got to chop it up.
Yeah, appreciate you for coming on, man. You definitely had a lot of fun. But we'll go ahead and wrap up the episode tonight. That's all the time I have for you guys today. Your host, Thomas Tyree, and the host of the Run Podcast, Manny Wilson, signing off. And I'll see you guys on next week's episode.